Okay, hello everyone. We are live again. Streaming product building using various AI tools with the goal to get to $1 million in revenue at some point in the future. So, yesterday we did a bit of work on the speech to text application. We also did a bit of work with anti-gravity on the dashboard stuff. I did a bit of work on that last night, and I can show you where we are with that and talk you through some of the stuff that I discovered with anti-gravity and Gemini. It's not good news, I don't think. So yesterday I deployed the page to Versal. So it's now live on this URL. It's not particularly good URL. I'll create a new one at some point. The cron job itself works. It's just some dummy data at the moment. And the data is all stored in some Notion databases here. There's a few bugs, of course. But it kind of works as a basic initial starting point. It's not too bad. So, stuff that we discovered yesterday when I was doing the coding with anti-gravity was basically that anti-gravity and Gemini are not particularly good. So I was working on this, just trying to get it to work with the Notion database. But what kept happening was, let me try and find the code actually. Where is it? It's not the cron, it's probably in lib. Yeah, Notion client. I don't know why it's in lib. That's not very well named. So yeah, so the Notion client itself, we're just using this Notion HQ client library, and it just interfaces with the actual Notion API itself. And there's this pretty basic query function where you pass in some arguments. And again, this is all typing from the actual Notion library itself. So there's just some query parameters. And basically, anti-gravity and Gemini just could not get this working. It kept trying to downgrade it to a different version. It kept saying, oh, you can't use these arguments and all this absolute nonsense. And I kept giving it the code examples, telling it to look at the documentation, and it would just still massively fail, keep trying to do dumb stuff every single time. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it to Claude Code, and Claude Code looked at the research file that I told it to look at, understood the projects, looked at the feature file, the Versal one that I was talking about, and did it in one basically. So Claude Code absolutely crushed Gemini in this particular case. And looking at the code here, I can kind of see that Gemini doesn't produce particularly nice things at all. And it was a bit frustrating. It probably took me 45 minutes to get Gemini to even attempt to do it correctly. I'll see if I can find the chat logs actually. Open Agent Manager. Yeah, so like we were spending a long time going through trying to get it to work, and it was just not working. It was just doing crazy stuff. Kept looking at all these crazy versions of the Notion SDK, and kept coming up with absolute nonsense, basically just hallucinating and trying to do crazy stuff. So eventually I just, as I say, I gave it to Claude, and Claude did it in one. So first impressions of Gemini and anti-gravity, pretty poor really. I don't think I'll be using it again. So I'm going to stick with Claude for the moment, I think. We'll try on another stream. I'll get Cursor again. I've got some credit for OpenRouter. So one thing we can do is perhaps we can take a feature and try it with some different models and see kind of what we get and the results and stuff, and see how the models compare. It might be quite an interesting approach. So yeah, so kind of where we are currently. As as I say, we're still working on the text-to-speech app, sorry, the speech-to-text app, and I've now got a kind of initial dashboard deployed on Vercel. Obviously, you need to get a domain name. It needs improving in the UI and all that kind of stuff, but we've got something kind of going. So, hello, what are my thoughts on OpenClaw? Claude myself. Oh, okay. Hello, FBA mogul. Yeah, I mean, I've not used OpenClaw yet, but I've seen a lot of stuff around it. It seems to be a security nightmare from what I've seen. People just deploying it on their own Macs and then getting hacked. I think it was the top package at the moment, or a few days ago, was literally malware. So not great. It's an interesting idea. I think that the whole kind of idea of just looping through agents seems to be the sensible thing. But yeah, I've not used OpenClaw. Again, I'll probably do a video on it at some point and stream with it, but it's not something that I've used myself. It seems to be getting a lot of hype. Like I said, the guy that wrote OpenClaw now works for OpenAI, and there's lots of open source. Well, OpenClaw's open source, but there's lots of other open source versions that kind of take security a bit more seriously and try and do it in a better way. But it's interesting. Like, I'll leave it at that for now. So yeah, let's continue with what we're doing then. So one thing we were working on yesterday was using Notion as the back end, and then just having a little cron job that gets the data for us. This kind of works currently. Like it's very basic. Doesn't actually call out to YouTube or anything like that. It's just updating some data. There is a slight bug with it where it will update the same data twice, basically. So it's just going to write a new row rather than updating for the particular project. But we can fix that fairly simply, I believe. In terms of the text-to-speech stuff, we can kick that off again as well. I keep calling it text-to-speech, but it's actually speech-to-text, isn't it? What is it? Text-to-code. I don't know why I call it text-to-code when it's about speaking, but yeah. And the other thing we found was that when you do the planning phase, so you create a planning document, you add to-do lists to it, you actually get it to, or get Claude or the particular AI to go through it in steps. It really improves the output of the code rather than just trying to get it all to work with one little prompt. Definitely has improved the workflow so far. Okay, so let's just kick off the text-to-code application. What is it? It's actually history. Is it Tory? Yeah. Okay, so the app should so obviously Notion is not a long-term thing, but it was just a quick way to get stuff going. I didn't want to pay to have a managed database, and all my data is pretty static anyway, so we thought we'd use Notion to start off with. Seems to work okay. Obviously not very quick, and there's lots of issues with it, but for our use case, it seems to work okay. So yes, yesterday we were working on the UI a little bit. It's coming along. It still looks pretty crap in my view, but we are slowly getting somewhere. So we've got these layered waves that need fixing. I don't think they looked very great. Let me just double check. Yeah, so they don't look great at all, really. That needs fixing. We should also have the option to have, again, that doesn't look very active. It's just kind of like very small. Again, same with the rainbow bars, doesn't look particularly great. Needs to be way more up and downy. And then we need to come up with the processing animation as well. And then I think we're kind of at the point where we can kind of use this product, really. Also, I've used it myself for various things. lots of things to improve with it, but we're slowly coming along. UI needs a lot of work, as I say. So let's just see where we are with the features. So we have this visual pill update plan. We don't have a to-do list on it, which is, maybe it was this one that we were looking at. Yes, okay. So we can get Claude to implement this particular feature. Okay, so what I'll get it to do is to go back to the research phase, look at the research documents. We will then get it to implement the, I thought I just upgraded Claude code actually, let's run it again. So yeah, we'll get it to read the research document so that it can kind of get the context of the product, of the code and everything that's going on. We'll then get it to update, to start implementing this vibrant VisMic hotkey session. Not upgrading Claude code. Okay, so we'll just leave that as is, I guess. Where are we in terms of the Git stuff? Okay, yeah, we've not been using Git at all, really. We'll just call this the initial commit, because I don't think there's anything here. Do not, that's called master. Okay. Ooh. Check out master. Let's just merge that to master. Okay, so let's create a new branch. Feature vibrant UI. It's been so long since I've done this myself. It's okay, let's get Claude going then, shall we? So yeah, got any questions? Think please do reach out and I'll try and answer them. Or any articles that you want me to look at, I will happily do that. So I did release a video yesterday, today actually, of the article that we read at the start of the stream yesterday. So I can talk through my workflow for that, and I'm going to kind of build a product around that workflow. So something we'll talk about in a second. Anyway, okay, so we need to get the app running again. I mean, you can just use Claude to do the Git commands. I just forgot what the branch stuff was because it's been a while since I used it. I had aliases on my work laptop, which I don't have it on this laptop. So I'm surprised ZHS doesn't have Git new branch as a command, but maybe it was my own alias. Anyway, it's easy enough to do. But yeah, we could definitely do like a Git application, I guess, but Claude knows Git pretty well, so I don't think that's one we need to go into too much. Please look at the research.md file and gain context of this app. Once you've done that, you can start looking at the plan for the vibrant visualizations and start to implement it. So yeah, definitely need to improve the processing. Oh yeah, so one thing we need to do is probably give it access to these directly. Just saves us, saves Claude burning tokens looking at it. Is it not plans? Oh, it's uppercase. I don't know why it's all uppercase. What is it? Vibrant. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we'll leave that spinning. And then I guess we can try anti-gravity again. I've got a month free use of it, so might as well see how we get on with Gemini again. So in our features here, I think most of them are done from what I remember. So we've got a revenue progress. That is done. I got Claude to do this one for me because Gemini was massively failing. So we'll leave it as that. So, okay. so yeah, the current bug that well, there's a few things I want to fix with the dashboard as well. Firstly, it's just black and white, which looks a bit crap. So we'll get some updates going in colors and stuff. But I also think we should have like icons for like YouTube. We should have links to the channels, again, links to either the Git repo or the product page, all of this kind of stuff. And more color, I think, is important. And then we need to fix the bug where it's adding a new row to the metrics, even though it should have just updated this row rather than adding a new one. And we also obviously need to add in the APIs and all that kind of stuff to get that data for YouTube. We also want to wire up an email account so we can get the expenses when I forward those emails. So lots of things to do. But let's make it look a bit nicer, I think, because I think that's something that Gemini can actually do rather than just massively failing like it did yesterday. See, I don't know which window you're meant to use on anti-gravity, where it's meant to be the one that we had open a second ago, which just massively failed loads yesterday. I don't even know how to open it up again. That's okay, so we'll use this one. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, I guess firstly we need to get it to look at the research file and understand the project. Where is my research file? It's here. Copy path. Please look at the research file and gain context of the project. Once you've gained context of the project, please create a new plan to make the dashboard a bit more colorful rather than being just black and white. Okay, that's a pretty crap prompt, really. Yeah, the stream is lagging, is it? Okay, I mean, there's not much I can do, I don't think. I think it might be an issue with skip frames. Yeah, I think there's an issue with Streamlabs. I don't know whether I've got it set up correctly. I know that I think YouTube was complaining. Actually, let's have a look. YouTube Studio. I want to go to the live. Yeah, please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. I don't know what that means. Let me do the classic and ask Claude, shall we? I do find it kind of funny that the amount of money that Anthropic have, and yet their UI is absolutely terrible and so slow. Okay, so getting this error from YouTube when streaming. What settings do I need to update in? Okay, so let's see where we are with Gemini, sorry, with Claude and the speech to text app. It's currently working its way through stuff, which is good. How is anti-gravity going? Okay, so it's analysed the research, it should understand what's going on now. Okay, so it's going to modify some stuff. It's got dashboard cards. Has it created a feature file here? It hasn't. I don't think that one. Yeah, okay. So we'll get it to create a feature file with the plan. And we'll add in some extra things as well. Oh, the speech to text app is not up. Is it broken? Is it? No. Please write the plan. Oh, it's still processing. Weird. Seems to have crashed. I guess Claude is doing stuff, so I might have broken it. So yeah, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Please do subscribe. Leave any comments, questions, queries, articles you'd like me to read or give opinions on. More than happy to provide input. I'm from the UK. Hello again, Patrick. How's your learning of C# going? Okay, so the model has loaded. Oh, it seems to be taking a long time. Please write this plan to the features folder, and let's also add in icons in each project. So for a YouTube channel, for example, let's add the YouTube icon, TikTok icon, etc. And for software, let's just come up with a generic icon, please. So yeah, one thing we definitely need to try and work on is the processing speed. Again, like I think there's that library that SuperWhisper use that we can probably use, because I think it was free if you're open source, which this project is going to be. So we'll look at that at some point as well. Okay, so Claude has done its stuff. So 4 features of the plan, we're audio and code base specifically. Okay, good. Okay, cool. But yeah, one thing that's not correct still is the bars themselves. They're still nowhere near vibrant enough. So we'll definitely get that to be fixed, I think. We should also like move this positioning and stuff because it's not particularly great. The Epstein files. Yeah, I think I'll probably skip that one, but not to get too political. But yeah, it's not a good situation. Okay. So can we please make the sound waves on all 3 much more vibrant? So even when it's a low volume, they should still basically hit the entirety of the height. Let's also move the recording and the hotkey to stop to the same vertical positioning. We can probably also get rid of the word recording and just have the pulsing red icon. So yeah, I think we've probably got the wrong model on, which is probably also why it's taking so long to process at the moment. So we'll check that as well. Hello, QWERTY. Welcome to the stream. If you've not subscribed already, please do so. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers as quick as we can, really. Obviously, it's a small goal, but we're making progress. So yeah, currently building 2 apps at the moment, with one with Claude, one with Gemini. So lots going on. So Gemini has come up with a colorful UI redesign plan. It's got a to-do list, so it's got update with some gradients, some colors, contextual hovers and stuff, colorful typography with arrow accents. I mean, I think it's probably going to go a bit crazy, really, would be my guess here. But we can see what we get. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. We can just go ahead and say that it can implement that. Okay, you can go ahead and implement the plan, please. So that was much more vibrant on the bars there for the speech app. Is Claude better than Gemini for coding? Yeah, so far my experience has been that Claude is way better. So at the start of the stream, I was talking about how I was trying to get the Notion as a database working yesterday for the dashboard. So if you've not seen, I built this little dashboard to kind of track my progress and to share my progress with everyone. It's deployed on Vercel now, and we're using Notion as a database just because it's a free tool. Like, this is, didn't want to have a managed database and pay for it and stuff, and this data is not going to update even remotely often. So Notion have obviously an npm package. The documentation is pretty straightforward. And yet Gemini just failed about 15 times while I was prompting it to actually get the Notion client working. It kept trying to like downgrade the package for no reason. It kept looking at the types and just hallucinating functions and arguments and stuff, not even using the typing. I mean, even here, this is not great because we've already got a type for the query here. We should just be using that, but it is what it is. So I was getting quite frustrated with Gemini yesterday, so I just gave Claude the exact same plan document, and Claude one-shotted it and just did it, and it worked perfectly fine. So far my experience of both Claude and Gemini is that Claude is way better at coding. One thing, again, that we're trying to work out here on the streams is what's the good workflow for vibe coding. So I did release a video this morning going through that article about the kind of research, plan, implement process, which seems to be really well, working really well so far compared to just a standard like prompt in Claude and then get something. Yeah, so you can make an entire website using AI, absolutely, yeah, and also updating and maintenance. Yeah, in theory, you can definitely use AI to get, I'd say like 85% of the way there. I think one thing that we're discovering as we build these products is that you can get very far with just AI stuff and the prompting, especially if you know what you're doing. So obviously my experience as a software engineer for 10 years or so I do know what I'm doing. As I said, I'm not actually writing any of this code, but you can definitely get a very long way with just the code, just the vibe coding tools. But getting that extra 20% that makes the real difference is very difficult if you're not going to be doing the code yourself. But we can explore that a bit more, and then we can kind of compare my speech to text app versus a really polished one like Super Whisper and see where kind of the AI coding falls down versus the kind of well-designed and tasteful design in terms of both the software performance and the UI as well. So let's just see where we are. So Claude is doing stuff. It's done what it needs to do apparently. Let's have another look at the bars to see if they're way more vibrant. Yep, so they're way more vibrant, and we've got the recording thing. Okay, that looks a bit better. Yeah, I think that's much nicer personally. Cool. Where are you currently in the dev process of the app? So we've done, this is stream 4, I think. And in terms of where we are in the app, it basically works. Like we have the option to select your model. So we've got a list of models that we currently have available. We're currently using this Parakeet model, which is an NVIDIA model. You can select your input. So currently, I need to use the wireless microphone. We've got 2 modes of recording. So you can record either via like pressing the hotkey, and then it will record until you press the hotkey again, or you can hold the hotkey and release, and then it will kind of transcribe. You can change your hotkey. Text injection is just a simulated keystrokes at the moment. We've not changed that. We've also got this cool feature. Well, I think it's quite cool. It's probably a bit pointless, but the window picker. So just testing the window picker. So you get this kind of, I guess like Mac OS style window picker if it's working. Okay, doesn't work. Oh, here we go. It's just very slow today. So you can kind of pick your the bit of software that you want to go into and paste the code into, versus just having it as the active window. So you do that and it just picks the wing. Yeah, so this thing here is the app that I've made with the AI. And then we've got the various visualizations you can do. So you can change to like layered waves, for example, and you'll get this kind of not very good visualization, but a different option. Same with the classic bars and the rainbow bars. And then this processing animation we haven't really done much with yet. But yeah, so this is the app we've built basically. And the idea behind it is that rather than having to type out all these prompts to Claude and stuff, I can just speak and then it will do the prompt. And maybe in the future we can go a step further and maybe add in some proper LLM kind of interpretation, so we can write code through this. Maybe it's probably a long-term thing. I don't know whether I want to go down that path or not, because I can already tell it's going to be an absolute minefield. But we can see, like, yeah. I mean, there's lots of bugs here, like stuff not loading correctly and picking the wrong model and stuff. But we can look at fixing those, I guess. So yeah, let's just see where we are with anti-gravity. When will I finish this AI? I mean, I'm not writing any AI, to be clear. This is just using AI tools. When will I finish the speech-to-text app? Whenever I kind of decide it's done. As I say, it's not a product that I'm going to be selling or anything. It's just going to be an open source product that I use. Maybe I will sell it in the future if people like it and want to use it. But yeah, no plans beyond that one for the moment. In terms of other products I'm going to build, so I'm probably going to be building some kind of tools to help me build content for YouTube, maybe content for like YouTube Shorts and TikToks and stuff. And we'll do all those on stream as well. So we'll be building tons of products basically. If you've got any product ideas, please leave them in the chat and maybe we'll build it on stream. Currently learning to code, but what are your tips on learning? Yeah, so I think Patrick asked the same thing yesterday actually. He's learning C#, and my kind of view with learning to code nowadays is use a tool or a product called Code Crafters. You basically get to build software through challenges and stuff. So you build like a shell, you build Redis, you build grep, all these kind of things. It doesn't hold your hand. It makes you kind of learn through challenges and kind of actually understanding how stuff works. So I'd recommend you do a platform like this. And in terms of AI, like I would say use it as a coach. Don't just ask for answers from it. Use it as kind of a mentor and someone to ask, when you get stuck, what's an approach to doing this rather than just getting an answer. Because you only really learn when you kind of solve the problems yourself. That's my approach with learning to code via AI, I guess, in the future. What's the master plan to get to $1 million? Currently is no master plan. It's just build products and see if we find one that has like a market fit. Also, part of the plan as well is to make money through, I guess, social media. So through YouTube, through TikTok and stuff. So some of the stuff we will be building will be tools to help automate that flow as much as possible, to see if we can make a kind of low effort flow from my point of view that can produce content that people like and then maybe make money through that. Just kind of experimenting with lots of things at the moment. There is no huge master plan. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at the moment. I did actually see something quite interesting today actually. I think, yeah, so this person sold his company for $35 million called Social Snowball. If you're not familiar with Indie Hackers, it's quite a cool little site where people talk about stuff they've built and how it's going and stuff. So he initially started with some agency that just failed and eventually hired some people. I don't know where he got his money from, but he built this kind of affiliate revenue for creators and ambassadors and stuff. So you can kind of create referral programs, find influencers and all that kind of stuff. And obviously he kind of came up with this idea because it was a space that he worked in. I think he had his own products and he was trying to find influencers to sell his product basically. So maybe a product like this will come from the streaming when we kind of discover use cases that we have and problems that we run into. But yeah, we're in this together, so we will come up with ideas as a collective, I guess. And if we come up with a good one, then we can build it on stream and see if we can make some money and get to $1 million in revenue. But we'll see. As I say, and I'm being totally transparent with all the costs and money that comes in. I'll do that on everything. So all my kind of streaming and all that, if I ever get to the point where I make money off that, again, it will all be on the open dashboard. So you'll be able to see it and totally understand what's going on and if we're making money, where we're making money from. Okay, so it looks like Gemini has done some implementation. Let's go ahead and run that and see what it looks like. Let me split this down. What programming languages do I like? So most of my jobs have been kind of mainly back-end stuff. I have done front-end in the past, but I haven't worked on front-end for a long time. So generally, I've worked with Python. I've done a bit of .NET. I've done a bit of Go as well. So generally my favorite language probably is Go at the moment. Python is probably good, just because it's so ubiquitous and it is easy to learn and get started. Having said that, from what I've seen, like the code that AIs generate for things like Python is not that great generally. I think that's because there's just so much crap code out there, and it's such a big language and you can kind of go quite wrong with it. Whereas if you use a language like Go, because it's such a small language and quite a simple language, there's basically only one way you can do things, and it ends up producing quite nice code. So yeah, but I think the important thing is, like, once you understand one programming language, is don't be really kind of focused on one language. Try and learn other languages. Don't be kind of a person that's like, oh, Rust is the best language. You can only learn Rust. Everyone should use Rust in every project. At the end of the day, the programming language is the tool. It's whether you pick the right language for the thing you're trying to build, basically. If you're building an OS, an operating system, you don't use Python. You use, a lower level language like C, C++, Rust maybe, Zig. If you're building a web application, probably something like Python or Go is probably a better approach to doing it. But ultimately, it depends what you're doing. Cool, yeah, I mean, so it looks, I'm not going to say it looks better, but it's got some color. It's not done the icons at all well. That's just totally wrong. I do want to get rid of this kind of going through, actually. I think it's pointless to go through to the project. Do we even need to learn coding these days? If you don't plan on getting a job in coding, is AI good enough? Yeah, I mean, so there's the whole, obviously, like Anthropic and all those companies say that coding will be replaced and coders will be replaced in 6 months. I think they've been saying that for about 2 years now. Ultimately, if you don't understand how to build software in terms of both like the coding and the architecture point of view, what you build will probably not be very good. It will run into lots of issues like performance and maintainability and that kind of thing. So you do need some understanding, I think. Do you need to be like an expert coder and like good enough to get a job in coding? I don't know. I think I kind of vary from the point of view, like, there's no way that we will replace coders to, yes, we will replace software engineers and stuff. It depends, really. It also depends on what you're doing. Like, so if you're just building a tool for yourself, then it's absolutely fine to just vibe code it and accept that it's going to be not the best quality. If you're trying to release it to thousands of people, you're going to run into problems and it's going to be difficult to maintain. If you don't know what you're doing, you're also going to run into problems of like deployment, maintaining it, all that kind of stuff. So it is difficult. But then there's also the question of, well, if like Claude Code gets good enough, do I need to ever read code? Can't I just prompt it? Who knows? We'll see, basically. No, I don't find it scary as how AI is getting in the, it's come a long way, but it's not like, it's very overhyped, I think. Like I say, like in some ways, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do this project kind of just using these tools is to see how far we can actually get with just the AI stuff and not having to code. I think one thing that is interesting is like if you're going to be someone that can now, that can't code but can now create products through tools like Claude and Gemini, that's amazing. And does it matter? Like, does the end user care that the code is not great? No. As long as it's reliable, reasonably performant, they will use your products as long as they solve a need. But then there's the part of the kind of the software engineer part of me that's that thinks, well, hold on a minute, like as soon as you need to make changes, it's really difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And we've seen this already with my own little things. So when we told it, for example, when we were refactoring the UI, I told it to change the way that to put the toggle between push to talk and toggle to the from a pill button to a drop down, and it totally broke everything. It just created a new one. It broke the old one and does all this kind of stuff where you go, why is it doing this? So it's difficult to know, but part of that could be just my bad prompting, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how far it gets. It's difficult to know exactly what's going to happen. So much hype. I don't know. We'll see. There's also I don't know what other people think. Like, have you guys built stuff with AI? Do you think it's going to be taking over and the be all and end all? Who knows? So I mean, example here, like it doesn't work. Like the selection doesn't work correctly. It doesn't actually pick the correct model. So it's not great. Well, thank you, QWERTY. I hope it becomes successful as well. But yeah, so this app here is not going to be the thing that gets to $1 million by any means. So for example, I mean, one of the applications that inspired me, I guess, to build something like this was Super Whisper. So this is an application that is what I would say a well-polished and well-built application. Obviously, it looks way better than my one currently. It's not got that many more features than my one currently, actually, but it's got lots of kind of stuff that works really well. But the core differentiator here, and the thing that I was saying about kind of getting the 80% of the way there through vibe coding versus actually building it yourself and being able to make quality software, is if we look at the comparison, can't remember what the hotkey is, so give me 1 second. Option space. So look at the speed of this transcription compared to mine. Okay, as I say that, it takes a long time. It's normally much quicker than that. So let me try that again. The speed of the Super Whisper is way faster than mine. Yeah, okay, so like that is way quicker than mine once it gets going and warmed up and stuff. Versus mine, which how quick can this transcribe the text? You can see it is way slower. And that's obviously where they kind of made a dedicated model and they've adapted the model themselves to kind of their unique task. I mean, that didn't even work that time. So yeah, something's going on. I don't know why the performance is so terrible today. I am using my iPad as a second screen, so maybe that's kind of massively slowing my laptop down and causing issues, but I don't know. So anyway, I feel like I've done a lot of talking, not much vibe coding. So let's just see where we are. We've got, what is it? Okay, so that's how slow that was. That took ages to come up. So something's obviously going on in the way it's working. So yeah, I don't quite know what's going on with that particular issue. So let's have a look at the open dashboard again. Again, it looks pretty crap still. but we're kind of making gradual progress, I guess. One thing we need to do is actually get the YouTube icons and stuff. I'm also going to get rid of the going through to this page. I don't think it makes much sense. We should just have the data in like a drop down. Actually, the data is probably fine to just be in the card like it is. So we'll get Antigravity to come up with a plan for that, shall we? Okay. Please create a plan in the features folder for removing the project's specific page and just adding the data to the card itself rather than having a separate page. Let's also update the icons for the social platforms. So for example, if it's YouTube, it needs to be the YouTube icon, not just some random icon that we currently have. Do not implement anything. So yeah, that was one of the things that we discovered the other day, was that if you don't say do not implement stuff, then it will just go ahead and start doing stuff rather than waiting, basically. Stream is lagging again, is it? Okay. Yeah, I think it's probably my laptop with the iPad. Let me take the iPad off then. Maybe that will make stuff better. The only thing is I now don't have access to Streamlabs, I don't think, because it doesn't seem to open. How do I get access to that again? Okay. Okay, hopefully that fixes some stuff. We can also go and ask Claude again. We didn't actually do the update to the settings that Claude told us, did we? Too many tabs, as always. Okay, so settings, output, advanced streaming keyframes. Maybe this is the problem. Settings, output, streaming tab, keyframe interval. It's not even an option, so. Okay, I mean, I don't think I can change all these settings at the moment while streaming anyway, so I'll look at it for the next stream and try and fix that. So apologies if it's lagging. Okay, so let's see what Claude has done. So it's created a plan, has it? Streamline the user experience by removing dedicated project details page. Yep. Surfacing all the relevant project data within the project card. Yep. Additionally, update the iconography. Yeah. Okay. So I just had a thought that we need to do something there as well. You'll also need to update the Notion query to make sure we get all the data on the fetch for that. Okay, yeah, so I think having the iPad as a separate screen makes it way slower. That transcription was lightning fast compared to that. Again, I don't know whether this is going to work, because last time this UI just never worked in Antigravity for us. It just spins on working. And I think it's going to do the same thing this time, which is annoying. So yeah, authentic brand icons. Yeah. Why it's doing that, I don't quite understand. Like, there must be some React icons that you can get. Packages. I don't even know what this is. This is just random icons. Yeah. I mean, okay, that'll be fine. I'm happy with that for the moment. Removing separate packages. Yeah. Clean up refactoring. Okay, so it has got that. Next steps. Okay, cool. Let me copy this because it's again just not working. So yeah, this is just a terrible thing of anti-gravity. The fact that that doesn't work. You probably find it's all been vibe coded, and that's why it's all broken. So what else do we want to do? So that will give us that. Gives us the icons, clean up refactoring. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's already covered that. Okay. You can also come up with the to-do list. Please do not implement anything. Always be nice to the coding agent. Yeah, okay, so I think it probably was using my iPad as the second monitor that's slowed stuff down. Yeah, I don't think AI will fully replace us either. So if it does, well, we're all screwed anyway. So nothing we can do. Okay, so that is doing what it needs to do. Hopefully it will come up with a decent plan. So in terms of the app here, I'm trying to think of stuff that we need to do or want to do. I think the UI is better. It still doesn't really make me that happy, the UI. I don't know what it is. I'm not that into it, to be honest. Again, I'm not really a designer, so it might be why. Yeah, let's come up with a processing icon, shall we? So this needs to be fixed, I think. So maybe we can do something funny. Maybe we can have like the model's called parakeet, so maybe we can have a parrot typing as our little transcribing icon. Something slightly different, shall we? Let's try that. See what comes. See what Claude can come up with for the processing animation. For the processing animation, let's create another option that is a kind of 8-bit icon of a parrot typing. Let's see what it comes up with here. This is kind of where it's interesting to see what Claude interprets this as. In terms of the code, it should be fairly easy to do, like just adding in a new processing animation. We tried to make it extendable and make it so that it shouldn't need to do anything crazy. Whether it's actually followed my advice is an entirely different. Okay, so it should be able to come up with a fairly straightforward animation, just as a simple React component. What the code will look like and what the actual parrot will look like, I don't know, but we'll see together. Okay. So So it's got a to-do list. I don't know why it's not made it an actual to-do list. It's just got next steps. Get consensus on the architectural change. I mean, has it changed from... Okay, no, so it's saying it's going to use React icons. Sorry, that was me being wrong there. What does React icons look like? Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Happy to do that. Okay. Please make the to-do list a checkbox list so you can check them off as you're doing them. Again, stuff like that where you just kind of go, why has it done it differently? It doesn't seem to make much sense, but it's what it is. Okay, so Claude's written a little plan here. I think we should actually get Claude to stick it in our plans directory. please write the plan to a markdown file in the plans directory with a to-do list in a markdown form. Okay. So yeah, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Please do subscribe to the channel. Please do leave any comments, questions. It's currently building a couple of apps. We're building our speech to text app, and we are also building the open dashboard to show the progress. Yes, you can clear context and stuff, that's fine. So yeah, we should have typing parrot animation feature. It's got various to-dos. So like add the parrot type to the component list. Yeah. Add to the Tory stuff it needs to do. Yeah. I'm not sure we need a canvas based thing, but I'll let it do what it needs to do. And then various other things. Seems like a sensible plan. We'll leave Claude to do what it needs to do. Okay, so how is Gemini going? Okay, so it's added it as a to-do list. Okay, let's just get it to go ahead and implement it. Please go ahead and implement this feature. We'll see how it goes. So this is one of the big things that's quite difficult with vibe coding. I was going to turn the light on. It's getting quite dark here. Is design stuff, because it's not particularly great at the visual design. As you can see here, this looks pretty crappy, to be honest. Maybe we can find some interesting dashboard designs UI. It's quite funny that Claude's the first output, even though we're using Claude, and it's come up with a terrible example. So yeah, maybe we can come up with some kind of ideas from some examples and get it to actually look a bit nicer. Some of these look pretty nice, to be honest. That's really helpful there. So that one looks pretty good. That one doesn't have many examples. That one looks pretty slick as well. As does that one as well. Maybe we'll go with this one and just see what it can come up with in terms of visual inspiration, rather than our current dashboard that just looks a bit crap, to be honest. I do not want to sign in, thank you very much. Okay, so where are we? Has it written the file to the plan? Yeah. Okay. So apparently it's done it. It's not checked off any of the checkboxes. So we've got a typing parrot now. Let's see what the parrot looks like, shall we? Testing to see what our typing parrot looks like. Oh, okay. I mean, that's pretty basic, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm quite impressed, really. Okay, awesome. So again, like, it's come up with a UI that looks kind of okay. Again, this is kind of thing where it gets like 80% of the way there, but then it doesn't actually look that great. And if we compare it to like a polished product, so Super Whisper, like it just looks way nicer, right? So maybe we can try and copy the design of Super Whisper and get it to look much nicer. So we'll see. Let's just have a look at what Gemini is doing. Okay, so apparently it's finished. Let's see what it's come up with in terms of our dashboard. Okay, okay. I mean, it's made it all one component, which is good. It's still not fixed the icons. I don't know why it's just incapable of doing that. Again, this is kind of the core difference between Gemini and Claude. Like Claude's building like a parrot animation, and it looks pretty decent, and Gemini can't even change an icon. So yeah, I mean, it's nicer to have it all in one little thing, I think. Okay, so a couple of things we need to do. We need to add a link to each of these bars to the YouTube channel and that kind of stuff, or the open source project. We also need to fix the icons again. Okay, but I think what we'll do for this is, okay, please check off the to-do list for things that you've done. You can also then commit this change. So yeah, I quite like the little parrot icon. It's quite funny. Okay. So we'll be doing that, and then what we'll do is we'll move the screenshot from the desktop, this one I guess, to here, and then we'll get it to, I don't think it moved it, did it? Annoying. Copy, paste, yes. Then we'll get it to use that as visual inspiration, I guess, rather than a direct copy. Okay, so Claude's done a great job. Let's think about what we need to do then. So yeah, one thing I think we should do here is also add like the company that has the model or created the model as well, with a nice icon. But we can probably, I don't know what branch we're on here. That's the text to code vibrant UI. Okay, so we'll keep going with this, right? In the model list, let's also add the company that created the model, as well as a company icon to the visualization. Cool. All right. So yeah, let's check the to-do list. Also successfully staged, committed all our changes. Okay. So now, let me reference the screenshot. Please look at this screenshot and use it as an inspiration for updating the dashboard design. The dashboard currently just looks really basic. Let's make it actually look clean and nice. You also still need to update the YouTube icon to be the actual YouTube icon, not just a random box icon. Okay. Come up with a plan document for this, please. Always nice to the LLM overlords, so when they take over, they won't kill me first, at least. Okay, so that's going to come up with a plan now. We should probably get it to create a new branch, but we'll do that in a second. I don't know why it's modified that, or is that my local changes that? No. Don't know why that seems to think. Oh, because it's just not committed it. Okay, fine. It's also not committed the deleting of that. Okay, annoying. Okay, so Claude is busy working away. Gemini is working away. The anti-gravity UI is just so crap. Really not a fan of anti-gravity at all. So yeah, so one thing I did earlier as well. So one of the products I will probably build will be the kind of idea of, so earlier I released the talking about the workflow article. So in my last stream, I kind of read through this article and spoke about how this workflow seems to make a better workflow for vibe coding. So you do the research phase and come up with the research document through the agent. You then plan your particular feature, you kind of annotate it, add comments, loop through until you're happy with the plan. You then come up with the to-do list and then the implementation and feedback and kind of go through it. Definitely improved the output of the code that we've seen so far. And so one thing I did was created a video from that stream. And the way I did that was using AI, of course. So I got the transcript from that video. I then asked Claude to kind of give me some good segments that would clip into videos for the main channel, along with the timestamps, brief description of why it worked, and some title ideas. It then did that, kind of came up with the idea that I should take this article, you know, use it as a video, some ideas there. So that worked, and I clipped the video myself. I had to download it from YouTube and do obviously the manual stuff, which kind of sucks. And I then came up with the video, and it's now released. So that's quite useful, but we can definitely turn this into an automated workflow. So once the stream goes live, we can take the transcript, we can run it through a prompt like this, come up with some ideas for videos. It can then ask me which one I want. We can select it, come up with some title ideas and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of one product that we can build. And the thumbnail as well is AI generated. I've got access to Higgsfield, and I was just putting in my photo and saying, you know, move me around, add in some icons and stuff. So we'll see how that video does. It's not the best thumbnail, I don't think, but we've got 5 views. I don't know what the reach is, so yeah, pretty terrible click-through rate on that, to be honest. But we can iterate and try and make things better. I don't know what the kind of appetite is for this kind of stuff. Also on this channel as well, I don't know whether it's code focused or not. We kind of need to decide what the purpose of this channel is and kind of what the videos will be like in terms of the main channel. Maybe I need to do more product-y stuff rather than vibe coding-y stuff, but we'll see. Okay, so how does it look now? Yep, so again, like, I think this is the clear differentiation, can't speak, between Claude and Gemini, right? Claude added the icons perfectly in one go. Gemini still got a box icon for YouTube. Why it's got a box icon, I couldn't tell you. But I think that's just an example there where like the difference is very clear and very stark between the two. So yeah, the UI on our app still looks pretty crap, but slowly making improvements. Okay, so we can now have a look at the implementation plan for this. Implementation plan. It's not even where, I don't know where this is. Please write the plan to the features folder as a markdown document. Again, I don't know why I keep having to prompt that. You should do that, but we do. Okay, so in terms of the UI for this application, we're getting there. It's definitely looking better. Still looks a bit crap though. I don't know what it is. I'm not a designer, but compared to Super Whisper, this looks way nicer. Maybe what we'll do is we'll give it a screenshot of Super Whisper and say, make it look more like this, and see what it comes up with. In fact, let's try that. See how close it can get. with something like that. So in terms of Claude code and this particular thing, let's get it to make a commit. Okay, please commit your current changes so we can start a new feature. See how it goes with that one. Okay, so it's called Horizon UI. Again, I don't know why I keep having to accept changes like that. It's so annoying. Elevate the dashboard's aesthetic from basic to premium. Yeah, okay, so this will be a test. Can it do the YouTube icon? It's there at the top, right? So global theming, okay, it's got some implementation stuff, specifics about colors and stuff. Glassy and soft, yeah, okay. Progress bar, sleek and rounded. Yeah, okay. Wants approval. Okay. Please come up with a to-do list in Markdown format and add it to the plan. Again, like one thing I'm not doing at all really, which was recommended in that article, is like reading these plans in depth and kind of prompting it to update bits that I'm not happy with. Which again, it's probably why we're not getting the results that we want. But it's a bit boring to kind of read through an entire plan on screen. But maybe we'll try that in future ones. But again, like Claude just nails it in one anyway, even with the plan documents just as they are. Okay, let's give Claude a screenshot of Super Whisper. Give it a couple of screenshots. And we'll see how far and how close it can actually get to something like Super Whisper. So this will be interesting to see like what the basically the one shot is of Claude. Copy these. When you give it some screenshots. So my impression is it will do pretty good. So we've got at screenshot, at screenshot. So that one, 2614. Okay, please take these screenshots and use them as visual inspiration. And let's update our UI to look much cleaner and much more like these screenshots, please. And we'll just see what it comes up with. So we'll get it to come up with a plan, actually. Come up with a plan to do this and add it to the plans as Markdown. So we'll see what it comes up with there. Okay, so Gemini has added the steps. Just accept these. So global changes, the metrics cards, interactive project rows. Yeah, okay, so I mean, it's got an explicit checkpoint for the YouTube icon fix. So we'll see how we get on there. Okay, go ahead and implement that plan, please. Okay. Does Claude kill other security companies? I don't know what you mean by that. Can you kind of clarify what you mean by killing other security companies? I don't know who Terry Davis is, to be honest. And no, I don't currently stream to other platforms. I do need to get it set up to stream to the other platforms, but still trying to get YouTube streaming to work correctly. And then once I've got that kind of nailed and the settings done correctly, I'll start to add in Twitch and the other platforms as well. Terry Davis, Temple OS. I have heard of Temple OS. I've never used it. Yeah, I mean, if you built an OS, he's probably a very good programmer. But yeah, I can't say I know much about him, to be honest. Maybe I'll read it through at some point, but I'm not particularly big on the kind of history and stuff of programming. Just more interested in building stuff. Okay. So Gemini is working, Claude is working. Cool. It's going to be interesting to see what we get in these. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, this dashboard, like, it's taken what, 2 streams to get to this point now, and to be honest, I probably could have built this in an hour or so, and I haven't done any front ends for a long time. So that could just be that we're using Gemini. So it does show that often it's not a time saver. Lots of bugs we've had to fix with it, and still stuff doesn't look great at all. I mean, they're still okay. Well, we'll let it finish, and then we'll judge it on that. But yeah, again, it is interesting. Like, we are using 2 different models here. We're using Claude and Gemini, and Claude is doing a much better job on a much more complicated project than Gemini is on just a simple web page. Okay, so we've got the plan saved. That's the dashboard. This is text to code. Super Whisper inspired UI redesign. Okay, so it seems to have come up with a pretty good plan. Kind of making stuff look nicer. It's a pretty in-depth plan, really. Again, not going to read through it all, especially when it's a UI one as well, because it's going to be difficult to get much from the plan, really. Cool, let's get it to come up with a to-do list, and then we can go ahead and implement it. Please come up with a markdown to-do list for that plan. So yeah, but it's also nice that, you know, in a couple of streams, we built an app that we're using to prompt Claude and stuff. Like the speech to text stuff is really cool, and the models are pretty damn good nowadays. So stuff like that is really cool. It's certainly a space that is very crowded though as well. I've seen like 7 or 8 equivalent apps that do the same thing, which is not surprising given how easy it is to build. Which does kind of raise the question: what's going to happen to a lot of these tools that are quite basic in terms of software, given that I can build one of these in, you know, basically a day or 2 just through prompting Claude. Okay, so it's come up with a very detailed task list. Yeah. Again, Claude is just smashing Gemini in pretty much every single way. Gemini is still running on the... Okay, so Gemini's done now. Let's see what the UI looks like, shall we? Just refresh, make sure we get up to date. I mean, it's still not fixed the icon, and it like jumps around loads. Oh no, that's... Yeah, okay, that's not... I mean, it doesn't look any... I mean, yeah. It still looks terrible, in my view. So it's not great. It's not done a great job so far. And certainly the dark mode looks absolutely atrocious. And it's still not fixed the YouTube icon. It's not looking good for Gemini and anti-gravity. I mean, it says it's harden the matching logic so that FA YouTube correctly shows up regardless of the capitulation of YouTube. yeah, I mean, it's just not done that at all. So again, this is probably something where like you would need to know how to code to dive into that particular thing. So you've got progress, so we've got dashboard card, which I'm guessing is a particular project, would be my guess. No. That's the layout, that's the progress bar. Header, that's the header. Theme provider, that's the darker light. That's the progress bar. So I'd guess it's this. Title, title value trend. I don't know what. I suppose I've got no idea what that is actually. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's search for active projects to see where that's. Oh, I need to go back to anti-gravity. It's JSX, isn't it? Oh, it's TSX. Sorry, it's TypeScript. Okay, so it's leaping through all the projects. Okay, so it's just in page. Okay, fine. It's got this get project icon function here, which if the type includes YouTube content channel, I mean, I don't know why it's come up with all this. It's got, again, this is kind of just, yeah, just so bad. Such terrible code. So the dashboard, if I can find the page, where is it? I think it was in this one, right? So the project is called Tim Knight Media and the platform is YouTube, right? Should be very, very basic to get that to work. If the type, I don't know where it's looking at type and why it's getting type at all, to be honest. So detail projects, all right. Returns project details. So it doesn't extend project, which is what type. I don't get why doesn't it use platform? Seems much more sensible given that that's the actual thing. Okay, please use the platform prop rather than type for the icon selection thing, as we still not. Oh, damn it! Claude is currently implementing it, so it's obviously broken our thing. I guess we can use Super Whisper instead. Please use platform rather than type prop for the icon, as the YouTube stuff is still not working. It should just be the default icon if we have no type of YouTube. Otherwise, it should be based on the platform field. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see how that goes and what it comes up with. Can't stream to TikTok with Streamlabs. They require 50% gaming content. Oh, okay. I mean, that's strange, but fair enough. So I won't be streaming to TikTok then. Try and make an app without looking at the code at all. I mean, that's basically what we've done with the the speech app. I've looked at the code, but I've not actually touched any of the code. It's built in Rust, and I don't know any Rust, so it's entirely uncoded by me. And to be honest, the open dashboard one, I've looked at it a bit, and that's just because Gemini is failing. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, so again, this is a stark example of how much better Claude is than Gemini. So we've got a much nicer looking kind of UI now in one go, whereas Gemini still can't get the correct icon to render. So one thing I think is much nicer in the Super Whisper stuff is like how, firstly, it's kind of transparent, the UI. You can kind of see stuff behind it. But also the fact that we don't have this kind of bar at the top, it's kind of just part of the UI, if that makes sense. Like it's just kind of one single unit, which I think is much nicer. So we'll try and get it to do that as well. A couple of other things, like you can't select the input here, which I think would be nice to do. But overall, I think it looks really way better than it was. So let's go ahead and get it to do those changes. Okay, great work. A couple of changes we want to do. We want to get rid of the top menu bar, should just kind of be continuous into the main UI like Whisper is. We also want the selection of the microphone to be available in the top menu item as well, please. We should also make the background transparent, similar to how Whisper is. There is also a bug there with the UI where, for the pill, where the sound waves are not fully along the width. They're kind of cut off a bit, but we can probably fix that as well, yeah. So yeah, but in terms of like streaming to TikTok and stuff, I don't think this kind of stream would work that well on TikTok, given it's kind of text and TikTok is vertical. I'm thinking for TikTok, I'm thinking more along the lines of trying to create an entire workflow to get me to create content. So one idea I've got is that if we use something like Feedly, sign up to loads of kind of news articles and websites via their RSS feeds for, say, like AI news or crypto news, for example, then pass all of those articles into the LLM. It can kind of examine them, see whether anything's going to look good as a TikTok short potentially, and then it can give me that short as a script, or give me various options, and I can ask, I can say which one I think is better. It can then write the script for me. I can then just kind of film myself reading the script, basically. We can then add some B-roll or imagery. Maybe we can get the AI to generate that for us as well. And then we can upload that to TikTok. So that's kind of the idea I've got there. Again, it's not kind of particularly complex to do. It's one of those things where I think it'll be interesting to see both how far we can get with the AI tooling and just the generation and stuff as well, and how good the quality of the generation is, but also how much traction we can get on the TikTok channel, for example, if we start one, given it will all be basically AI generated content, scripts, and all that kind of stuff. It will just be me reading it, or maybe even we can use a clone me via an AI, and then we can get the AI me to read the script so that I'm not doing anything. Might be an interesting way to approach this kind of thing. And we also get to experiment with kind of what makes a good TikTok and all that kind of stuff, what makes content that people actually want to watch. Okay, so it's done better. It's a bit too transparent now, though, I think. It's gone a bit too far. This doesn't line up either. So we'll get rid of that. Heading. Yes, we'll get rid of the heading there. We'll make it less transparent, more kind of like frosted glass, I guess would be the way you could describe it. Let's get that to do that then. On the top menu bar, please get rid of the text to code title. Let's also make the background less transparent, more like frosted glass. Basically just copy the way that Super Whisper has their transparency and background color, please. So yeah, again, we've still got that bug on the UI there. But it's looking a lot better, I think. We should also update these buttons as well because they look a bit crap with the blue. But the fact it's getting this far as well is pretty amazing, really. And again, it shows the difference between Claude and Gemini. Claude basically one-shot that to a really good standard. Okay, finally, finally Gemini has put the correct icon there. It still looks absolutely terrible in terms of a UI, but I had to go look at the code and tell it how to do it. So that's an example where if you didn't know what you were doing, you'd probably have spent hours trying to prompt Gemini to fix that for you, whereas I was able to go look at the code and get it fixed within 30 seconds by telling it what to do. So I don't know how to approach the dashboard anymore because Gemini is doing such a crap job of making it look good. It's difficult to know what the best approach is, other than just giving it to Claude and telling Claude to do it for us. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll just stick with this visual for the moment for the dashboard, and we'll try and get it to fix the bug where it doesn't update the correct row in the database that we've got here. So basically the way this works is it's deployed on a platform called Vercel, just because it's free. We've then got a cron job, and a cron job is basically something that just runs on a time schedule. So it runs every day, basically. And if I go to settings here, we can look at cron jobs here. I can run this cron job, basically. And what this cron job is going to do in the future is currently just boilerplate code. But what it will do in the future is go to all of the project's APIs. So like go to YouTube API and grab all the data for that particular channel. And it will then update the database here, as it just did there, and give us the latest data. Obviously, I don't have 15,000 subscribers. I think we're at like 70. But as you saw there, it just added a new row rather than updating the current row. So we need to fix that. Like the primary key that it should look at is the project ID. So we'll get Claude to come up with a plan for this. I don't know what branch you're on here, but let's have a look. Okay, so we're just on main for the moment. Okay, we'll get that to commit those changes, shall we? Please commit those changes. Okay. Hello, Titchmeister. It's my friend from the UK. Gotta love a bit of live coding in the morning. Better start to the day than we expect. So thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully it's not still raining in the UK, but I'm probably guessing it is. Cool, so Claude has done its stuff. We are looking pretty good, I think, actually. Like, it's amazing how good Claude can actually be. So you compare it to Super Whisper, wants to give me an update. It still doesn't look quite as good as Super Whisper. Super Whisper definitely looks a bit more slick, but we're getting there. So that is cool. Okay, so one thing I think we should probably have as well is the option to close the menu, to minimize the menu, so it's just the icons rather than the expanded menu. And I'm pretty sure Claude will be able to do that in one. Let's see. Let's please add a button in the top menu item to minimize the left-hand side menu to just be the icons rather than the icons and the text. I'm not going to get it to do a plan for that one. I'm just going to see whether it can one-shot it. I think it probably can. It's quite a straightforward thing to do, really. Okay, so we should have commit that. Property now safely inside. Okay, cool. Please create a new branch called bug / project update primary key issue. It's a terrible name, but we'll see what it comes up with. Should be able to interpret that correctly. So this is one of the things that interesting if we go down the speech to text and then text to code path, is like interpreting this through the AI and getting it to actually do the correct code. And in this case, it has worked out what I wanted to do. It's going to create a branch with bug / and then the name of the branch. What's it actually doing now? Fixing update project. I mean, it's creating a plan. I've not asked it to do a plan. Again, this is one of the things where you just kind of go, what the hell is it actually doing? And why is it doing that? Okay, yes, I can provide you some issues, some information. Yes, currently when we run the cron job, we are updating the Notion table to use some dummy data currently. But what's happening is we're adding a new row rather than checking against the primary key, which should be the project ID, and then updating that row. So for example, when we update subscribers, we should just update the current row for that project rather than inserting a new row. Come up with a plan and do any research that you need to do for this. Please write a bug plan document under the bugs directory and make it a markdown file, please. So we'll see what it comes up with there. Again, one of the difficult things, I guess, is when you're talking is getting your thoughts down in a clear way that the LLM can actually understand and do for it, which I think is why like the research plan, increment along that annotate kind of phase makes a lot of sense, and it does really get better results. Not that we're getting good results with Gemini. Okay, so Claude is still working its way through. So Claude is done apparently. And look at that. I mean, the animation is a bit jumpy, but that's pretty good to be fair. So yeah, again the stark difference in the way that it works, the way that Claude works compared to Gemini is just crazy, really. So a couple of things we need to fix. The animation is a bit jerky. It needs to transition much smoother. And then we also probably need to get rid of the minimize and expand and just have just the X icon rather than all three, because it doesn't quite fit, I don't think. Okay, the animation is a bit jerky. We need to smooth out the transition. We also need to get rid of the minimize and the expand icons in the top left, as they do overlap. Let's just have the close window icon. So yeah, again, pretty amazing that it can just do that in one. I mean, ultimately, like from a coding point of view, that's a really simple thing to build, but it was able to do it pretty quickly. So good job, Claude. Quite sunny in the UK. That's good. Yeah, so Tokyo was a bit cloudy today. Yesterday was really nice. It was like 22 degrees, which is awesome. It was a pretty nice day today, but nothing crazy. And it's now pitch black. Okay, so let's see where we are with Gemini in terms of the plan for this document. Again, the UI of anti-gravity is just crap. Really finding it frustrating. Okay, so bug fix plan. Fix the cron root TS endpoint so that updates an existing metric row for a specific project instead of always creating a new row, which causes duplication and breaks the primary key concept of having one subscriber's value per project. Okay, so it's understood the bug. The root cause. Currently, it executes Notion pages.create. This blindly inserts a new metric, every time it runs. Over time, the project will have hundreds of subscribers, rows, Solution, upset logic. Instead of using create, use upset. Okay, yes, makes total sense. Okay, so it's got a good plan. Pretty basic thing to fix, but it should be able to fix this in one. Let's see if we can one-shot this one. What do we think? Reckon it will do it? Okay, please implement the plan. So it should be able to fix this one super easy. And this is the Notion documentation. So there's the like updated data source one, I believe. I'm pretty sure this is what it will end up having to do. I've not actually looked at this documentation at all much really, but I believe the data source is basically a table in Notion. It should have the ID and it's got the primary key as well, so it should be able to update it. We will see what it comes up with. So this is the live dashboard. I think it actually looks nicer than the one we've currently got. But we'll probably get Claude to fix the UI. Okay, so Claude is already done. It's not fixed it though. Let me just close it, try and open it again. Okay, we've got a bug. You've broken it. Should be able to fix that fairly easily. So what is the error? Overlay is not valid under any of the schemas listed in the one. Okay, so that's just some TypeScript stuff basically. Needs to go and fix the structure of that. Should be a fairly easy fix though. Okay, so Gemini is running. Claude is running. Get rid of the settings. 31 degrees in Dubai. God, must be nice. Actually, to be honest, I think that's probably a bit too hot for me nowadays. Especially when you want to go out for a walk and stuff. Having been in Bangkok last few weeks, it was a bit too hot. Okay. Oh, it's still broken. We're on the correct branch. Remove the invalid config. Still getting. God, I'm having to type like in the past. It's broken my app. Okay, let's see how Gemini is getting on. Okay, so it's apparently fully implemented the fix. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to commit it and deploy it. We can then go ahead and look at the cron job when it runs. Okay, so we have fixed that issue on the Claude side of things. Okay, so that's booting up. Oh, it's very slow. Oh, that's my laptop or... Oh. Okay, maybe it was because it was loading the model. Okay, so the model is loaded apparently. So okay, so it does work. Again, it's still a bit jerky, and we're not getting rid of. Okay, so we are getting rid of those, but it's not correct at all, really. Okay. When the menu is expanded, both the minimize and expand icons should still be there. When the menu is minimized, they should disappear. The transition animation as well is still jerky. It needs to be way, way smoother. Currently, what happens is the text disappears and it kind of jumps to the left rather than being a smooth transition. There's our little parrot as well. Cool. See how it manages that, shall we? So yeah, I will push this to GitHub at some point so that other people can try it out as well. It should be fairly straightforward to do. I don't know what I need to do for the Tory to make it work on Linux and Windows and actually package it as an application, but we can probably work that out fairly quickly. Okay, so it's now been pushed to GitHub apparently. So let me go to my GitHub. Why I've got fast API there, I don't know. Nope, not what I wanted. Okay, so open dashboard. Okay, so it's pushed the branch. I guess I can go ahead and merge this. It's also added the screenshot and various other things. Let's just merge it and see what it ends up being like. So it should merge, and then what should happen is it should run the tests. So that was another thing I did yesterday as well. I got it to create a CI pipeline to run the tests and then to deploy to Vercel. So hopefully this runs. Yeah, so it's just running the tests now. They all pass. So it should then deploy to Vercel, and then we should get, if I can find the tab with it on. Yep, so we should then see it deploy any second now, I guess. So what do I think of building an app to help choose stocks? Have you heard of social arbitrage before? Using social media to detect trends and changes and then figure out which company stands to win and lose. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's definitely doable. The big problem with all those kind of things is getting the data. So scraping Twitter and Reddit and all that kind of stuff, and then processing it into, I think it's called like sentiment analysis, basically trying to understand what the sentiment on the kind of public opinion of a stock is, and then getting it to come up with like a positive or negative rating. It's an interesting idea. Like I think you can. I think Claude, what it's called now, does have someone built a skill for trading stocks. I think so. It's definitely doable. It's just whether it's an interesting one to approach. Really, maybe we can make. So like one thing we could do is we could build a much simpler version that is just like using some pre-built strategies for stock trading that exist out there. Like the example being like if a stock drops 5% or whatever, you buy it and then you wait and that kind of stuff. There are various strategies that already exist out there in various GitHub repos and stuff. We could build a app that allows Claude or the other AIs to trade based on those strategies and see which one wins. Might be an interesting idea to do. don't know. I mean, the chances of us actually making any money on that are pretty much zero, but it could be an interesting idea to do. Okay, so Claude has, yeah, okay, there we go. Much smoother. Okay, so it's not fixed those icons, but it's much, much smoother. Awesome. The highlighting is wrong though on that. It doesn't actually change that correctly, but we are making progress. Actually, what does Super Whisper do? I don't know what the UX would be for that kind of thing. Okay, so it is just, yeah, just a cleaner UX basically. Okay, so we need to fix the positioning of that because it's not correct. So it needs to keep that icon in the middle, and then we also need to fix those menu items. So we'll just do the icon fix for now, and then we can work on those because it seems to be struggling to do both at once for this. Okay, great, but when we are fully closed, the icon is not centered with the background, so the background kind of gets cut off a bit. I think you need to move the menu to the right a bit or make there be a bit more padding. So in other words, the icon needs to be centered within the background and we need to see the whole background. I don't think I explained that even remotely well, but we will see what Claude can do with that. Okay, so where are we going with this? So we've just deployed it now. So we should see our horrendous new UI. It's very slow because it's just not cached and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it is deployed now. Our lovely horrendous new UI. Cool. So what we can do now is if I delete these rows and we run the cron job, we can see whether Claude was able to fix that issue. I'm going to bet that it did not fix the issue. Oh, it did. Okay, so awesome. I'm wrong. I need to have more faith in old Gemini. So yeah, so basically what's happened there is, let me go to cron jobs. We can look at the logs. So, okay, because it doesn't have any logs, I don't think. Okay, so we see the log there just because it's got some deprecated warning of the way that it's using parsing of URLs. But what we've actually done now is we've updated the value of that particular row. So if we change this to be 25,000, getting a bit hopeful there, and we run the cron job again. Go back, no. Settings, cron jobs. We run it again, and then we'll see that this gets updated back to 15. So okay, so it's working now perfectly, which is great. So well done, Gemini there. Managed to fix that bug. Cool. So we definitely need to improve the UI of this a lot, but probably work on the functionality a bit, I think. So what I'm going to get Gemini to do, let me just fix the branching on that because it's a bit broken. Check out main. Okay. Create a new feature branch called data fetching for social media accounts. So what we're going to start to do on the Open Dashboard now is see if we can get it to actually implement the logic that we need in that cron job to go and fetch the data from YouTube for subscribers and views and that kind of stuff, because that'd be quite nice. And then I can add all my YouTube accounts to that, and then we can see all the data. And then if we start doing TikToks and that kind of stuff, hopefully we can do that as well. Okay. How is Claude getting on? Okay, so it's perfectly centered now, according to Claude. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good. Did a good job there. Cool. So now we just need to fix the icons there for closing and stuff. Okay, great. The only thing left to fix now is when the menu is minimized, we need to remove the minimize and expand window icons. When the menu is fully expanded, those icons should be there. Yeah, so it definitely makes you think about how you describe issues and stuff like that. It's not as easy as you think, just to kind of ask and direct stuff. You definitely need to put a lot of thought into your instructions and how detailed you are to get good results. You could backtest. Yeah, I mean, you could backtest it. I mean, you have to backtest all of the stuff if you're doing stock trading to see whether the strategy works. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I think that the main reason I wouldn't probably build something like that is just because getting all the data is super difficult to do, and you need a lot of data to actually work out some kind of sentiment. Otherwise, it's just basically like one person's opinion, basically. I mean, maybe something we could do would be, I think you can get Reddit data quite easily. So maybe we could build a little bot that trades based on what is it called? It's not Ape or something. It's like Wall Street Bets. Maybe we could analyze Wall Street Bets Reddit postings and determine what like the daily stock is, or try and come up with some stock picks, and then maybe get a fake trading account and see whether it can actually do anything interesting with that. It's an interesting one. I wasn't really thinking of going down the route of like stock trading-y stuff, but might be quite an interesting path. Certainly could be passive income. Who knows? We'll see. Hello, No Rain 69. I don't know what you mean by Britmind, but yes, I am British. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Do not forget to subscribe, and glad to see you're getting involved in the chat. Cool. So, has text to code fixed it? No, it's not. Okay, yes, it's super slow when you first start. I don't know whether that's just seems to get really confused. Not good, that. Okay, so I mean, it still doesn't remove the icons for that. All passing approach user set declaration. Blah, 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 blah. It's not working. When we minimize the menu, we still have all three traffic lights. We should only have the red light icon. Cool. So how are we getting on with this? Okay, so it's created a branch. Cool. Let's go ahead and get it to implement, hopefully, the data fetching. Please come up with a plan as a markdown document. The aim of let me use Super Whisper then, because Claude is obviously still working on it. Please come up with a markdown plan document for adding the data fetching for YouTube to update the data itself. So we need to reach out to YouTube's analytics API for each channel and grab the data, so the subscribers, the views, etc., and then update the particular metric in Notion. Okay, let's see what it comes up with for this one. Again, this is a really kind of simple thing to do. It's just integrating with a YouTube API. I'll need to give it the API keys and all that kind of stuff. But it should be able to do this very simply. Well, reasonably simply, given it's just an API call to a well-known API. Great. So how is Claude getting on? So Claude's still working. Apparently it's fixed it now. Yeah, I mean, it's fixed it. It looks crap. Again, like this is all stuff where the design is way cleaner on other products, and it makes a big difference. Yeah. So basically, it's just like the alignment that is the issue there. And actually, Super Whisper doesn't have the expansion to the full screen, which kind of makes sense, really, because you're never going to want this to be full screen. And I feel a bit bad just copying Super Whisper, but it's a cool little app, and it's cool to see how far we can get and how close we can get to an application like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's please remove the green icon, so the expand icon entirely, as we have no need to ever expand fully. We should also align the traffic light icons to be centered with the home and other icons. So the red icon should be centered with the icons below it. And the parrot is transcribing for us. Cool. Let's see what Anti-Gravity has come up with now. So we should have a feature document for YouTube. Accept. YouTube data API integration. Update the cron endpoint to fetch real-time statistics. Yeah, from channels data API. Dynamically update. Yeah, so it understands the idea. Currently, the projects have a platform property. We need a way to identify which YouTube channel projects belong to. We need to add a new text property to the Notion projects database called channel ID, or we infer the channel ID from an existing URL property if available. Okay, yeah, we can do that easily enough. Cron job logic, query for all active projects. Yeah, for each YouTube project, retrieve its associated channel ID, make a native fetch request. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the correct API. Extract the data, update it. Security, yeah. Get consensus on the architectural plan. Testing, yeah. Oh, it's obviously not running. Please add to the plan that we must do this in a test-driven development style. Let's also make sure that we build this in a modular way as well, as we will also be adding in APIs for TikTok and other platforms. So please make sure we follow domain-driven design and make it modular and extendable. Please update the plan to reflect this. Let's see what it's able to do. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Claude is crushing it today. Lovely. So yeah, I kind of think we're almost done with this application, really. I mean, it works pretty well. We've got pretty much all the features that I wanted to build into it. UI, okay, it's still not amazing. Like, we still don't look as slick as Super Whisper by any means. As I say, I'm not charging for this application, so I don't need to make it as awesome as Super Whisper is. Maybe we could add in some searching stuff for different models. I guess we would need to get a API key for Hugging Face to do that kind of stuff. Oh, one thing we should actually do, yeah, is a history. That'd be useful. Please come up with. Okay, so it even stores the audio as well. Interesting. I don't know whether we want to store the audio and stuff or not, but interesting. Yeah, let's see how it does with creating a history feature. So let's get it to commit what we've got currently. Please commit and merge these changes to main if we are not currently in there already. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so it's updating the plan, hopefully. YouTube metrics provider to fetch, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so it's come up with a reasonable plan here. I wouldn't call it particularly great. Let me just accept the change. I don't know whether it's finished actually. Do I need to wait for it to finish and then I'll accept the changes and we can read through it a little bit more. So yeah, just to be clear, we are building two apps at once. So we're building the open dashboard, which is the UI to display all the progress and all the projects that we're building. So we're going to have like the YouTube stuff, TikTok stuff if we do that, and the software we're building. And then we're also building a speech to text app, which is this one here. So we're currently using Claude for the speech to text app and Gemini for the dashboard. And the reason we're building two at once, I know it might be a bit confusing, is basically rather than me just being sat watching the Claude work or Gemini work, we can kind of do both at once. So maybe when I get another monitor and stuff, we can make it a bit cleaner. Or if you've got other suggestions on how I can make it a bit more clear what we're working on and stuff, please do let me know. As I say, this is only my third or fourth stream, so we're learning as we go and seeing what works and what doesn't. Okay. So Gemini should have committed that stuff. Awesome. Okay. Please come up with a plan document to create a history of previous transcriptions. Okay, let's see what it does. Do not implement this yet. Okay, so we should come up with a markdown document in the speech to text app that gives us a plan. We can then add in the to-dos and see how it nails those. How are we going with the YouTube integration plan? Okay, implementation steps. I've not told it to do a to-do list yet, but it's already started to do that. So yeah, so let's have a look. Future platforms, we will follow domain-driven design principles. So we've got domain models, define a core social metrics interface, representing consistent data, yeah. Provider patterns, metrics provider interface, each platform, yes. Cool. This is kind of a bit lower level code stuff, so I'll skip over it, not go into too much details, but this is just kind of a way to structure your code to make it a bit more easy to maintain and manage. Cool. Okay, please come up with a to-do list for that plan. Still need to fix the UI for the soundbars and the padding for it as well, as it's not quite centrally aligned. Cool. Oh, don't need to go to my settings. Okay, so Claude is going through. So it's interesting that it's looking at the code base, exploring it. I mean, the fact it's had to do that is a bit annoying and not asked me, because I've got a research document that actually has the entire architecture and all that kind of stuff. So I would have said, just look at that and you'd be fine. So we just burnt 54,000 tokens. It's probably a lot of CO2, but is what it is. Okay, so has it created the plan or just done that? Okay, transcription history. Okay. Add a persistent storage and browsable UI for past transactions. Every completed transcription is automatically saved with the metadata. Users can view, search, copy, and delete history entries from the new history feature. I mean, it's pretty cool. Things like search and copy and delete will be useful. I didn't suggest them, but they are very, very good features if it can do it. Yeah, so currently it's all the last one. It's got some data about what it's going to build in terms of data model, how it's going to store it. It's got phases for changes, which is good. Okay, awesome. I think because it's basically got the phases, I think we can just go ahead and ask Claude to do this for us. We are on the branch, right? Let me just check where we are. Yep. I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah, we're on the clean branch, basically. So let's go ahead and get Claude to implement this. Cool. And see how we get on. So again, can it one-shot the history feature? Based on what it's done so far, I think it probably can. But let's see. Okay, I mean, again, this is one of the things we've discovered, and based on that article that has definitely rung true, is I asked Gemini to come up with a to-do list for that plan, and it's basically just gone ahead and started implementing everything rather than creating the to-do list and then getting me to look at it. You definitely need to add, do not implement this as into the prompt when you don't want it to actually go ahead and just start writing all the code. Kind of frustrating, but it seems to be that they all do it. Cool. So yeah, how's the video going for the article? Still only 5 views. Doesn't seem to be very popular at all, really. Only a 0.8% click-through rate. Obviously a bad thumbnail. Or people are not interested in the coding workflow with Claude. Cool. How's the stream doing then? Let's have a look at some analytics, shall we, while we're waiting for Claude to do stuff. Oh, 7 hours watch time, that's pretty good. 188 views. Very cool. No subscribers gained though. Still trying to get to that 100 subscribers. Oh, we're on 80 subscribers. Only 20 away. So hopefully a few more streams and we will get to 100 subscribers. Okay. So Gemini is still working through adding the YouTube analytics to our dashboard, and Claude is working on adding the history. Cool, I'm just going to go pop to the toilet, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. I think it's still got my voice, and get rid of that. Okay, I'm back. Cool, so Claude is still chugging away. Be interesting to see how it gets on building the features of history. Okay, so it's already done apparently. Let's have a look, shall we? We've got a history, so we've got no transcriptions yet. UI looks pretty good. Testing of the transcription history. Okay, that's pretty cool actually. Guessing we can copy it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that actually. That has done a really good job. Test. Awesome. Very impressed. Yeah, that's a pretty awesome one shot, to be honest. Okay, please also store the audio recording in the history as well and allow us to play it back, please. So let's see how we get on with that. Still need to fix the positioning of the sound bars in the pop-up, as that's really annoying me. We probably also need to make the pop-up look nicer as well, because it's kind of blue, whereas the actual application is a bit grey, so we need to kind of align them. Other than that, the pop-up looks pretty nice, I think. Maybe we should also give options of having like the minimal pop-up and this current pop-up, etc. Because I know that like Super Whisper gives you that option to have a mini one. Not that we're just trying to copy Super Whisper entirely, but it's quite a useful example to use. And we also need to fix these two processing animations as well. And then I think we're probably pretty close to being done, actually. But yeah, so far, very impressed with Claude Code. It's doing a very good job. So yeah, if anyone's got any ideas of products to build, let me know, and we can probably try and build them on stream live. And how about this? If you come up with the idea and we make money from it, you can have 50% of the profit that we make together. Okay, so Claude is busy fixing that. How has Gemini got on? I've completely built out the new data fetching feature. So we've got the interfaces. Oh, I mean, the UI is so bad. The factories, the implementation, the database, verified test suite locally. Yeah, okay. So it says it's done basically, but the things that we're going to need are the API key to get from YouTube, and also I guess the channel IDs as well. Please let me know what I need to add to make this feature work. I also need the API key for YouTube, but what else do I need to add? So then we can add those in and see where we get as well. Okay, so how is, needs to reset the context. So yeah, building speech to text with Claude, and then building an open dashboard to track all the progress and see how we're doing, if we're getting any revenue or not, and kind of what applications we are building. This is to be npm run dev, doesn't it? To share with everyone. So you can all follow along, and maybe we'll do like a monthly update to see where we are as a little video as well. Okay, it doesn't seem to be loading, which is encouraging. Okay, so it's loading. Still looks absolutely atrocious. Definitely need a lot of UI enhancements. Okay, is it going to tell me what I need? Yes, it is. Right. Let's get YouTube. Yeah, I'll have to do that off camera, of course. The Notion database property. Open your database property where you defined exactly property account ID. I don't know why we need property account. Oh, it's platform account ID, right? Yeah, okay. Enter your channel ID in Notion. Usually starts with UC when you go to your channel. Okay, so we can add platform account ID to Notion. Was that the one? I've got so many tabs open. So I did tell it to make them all lowercase. Annoying that it hasn't. Okay, so then we need to get the ID of that channel. Studio. Oh, we're up to 7 views and a like on that video. Awesome. We need to add that back to Notion. Cool. I think that's all we need for that. I guess the next thing we need is the API key. APIs. I assume we can create. Okay, I'm just gonna have to hide the screen so I don't reveal my API keys. Give me 2 minutes while I create a new API key. Open dashboard. Just creating the API key for YouTube. So that we can grab the data that we need. Just need to add it to Vercel now as a variable. Should be able to, yeah, sensitive. So yeah, just bear with me a couple of minutes while I add the API key in to Vercel. Okay, I think I've added it in. Okay, I think we can come back now. Yeah, we are back. Okay, cool. So should have the API key now. Okay, yep, you can go ahead and commit this and merge it to main and then push, please. Okay. Yeah, please do think about business ideas that can make you, millions, and I can build for you. Happy to go into partnership if someone can come up with a really cool idea. Okay, so Claude has done the history. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and commit this. And it's got the history of the audio as well. So final thing I think we need to do then is just have a little UI to display the audio, so we can show the track and then the sound waves essentially, and allow us to play that as well. Again, very good job from Claude Code there. Awesome. On the history, let's please show the track as the sound waves, and then we can click play and see the sound wave progression rather than just having a play icon. I keep forgetting to fix the pill, so we need to do that as well, as it's not quite correct. Could you make an agent that finds ideas for business problems, vibe codes overnight for you, automatically review it in the morning, and then release it, sit back and collect the money? Yeah, I mean, that's an idea. So we could scroll Reddit, find business ideas and problems, and then get it to vibe code an app, and then see what the app looks like. Definitely an option. Like, I did watch a stream with someone called George Hotz, who's quite a famous programmer and entrepreneur. I think he was the first person to ever jailbreak the iPhone, and he now runs a company called Tinybox. But he was streaming vibe coding the other day, and he gave Claudebot the prompt of basically like, go make me some money. It came up with some crypto ideas. Someone sent him some crypto to get started, and he created a coin live on the stream via the AI. But the AI leaked the API key, and apparently there are nefarious people that monitor streams of popular people. And anytime a credential gets leaked, they use OCR to read it from the screen, and they were able to hijack the wallet. And I think the hacker got away with I think it was $200,000, I think, which is kind of crazy, really, from a stream where he was just kind of playing around, telling Clawbot to make him money, and I think he actually ended up about $11,000 up, which he donated to charity from that, which is kind of funny. It kind of only worked because he has like so many people that watch his streams, and obviously people kind of thought he was endorsing the coin and making this kind of crypto where he was just kind of playing around on stream and having a bit of a joke. Kind of crazy, really. But again, it's one of the things where I think it'd be cool to have a. I mean, I've not seen any stories about that on like Hacker News or Reddit or anything, but again, that kind of little story would make quite a cool TikTok or maybe a YouTube video about that kind of hack and the dangers of vibe coding and I guess live streaming and stuff. So interesting. Okay, so while Claude is busy doing the audio history UI, Gemini has merged our change, YouTube data fetching, with TDD and domain-driven development. I've not read any of the code, so whether that's true or not, I don't know. We just have to assume it is. It should now be deployed. Yeah, so 3 minutes ago it was deployed. Let's go ahead and run the cron job and see what we get. I mean, I can't imagine this is going to work, but we can see. I don't know whether we've got any logs in that either, so it'd be difficult to know what's actually going on. I guess it's data client. I mean, that's not what we wanted, but YouTube provider. Okay, so in theory we should get subscribers, views, and videos. I don't know why it's getting videos, but that's what it's done. So failed to process metrics. YouTube API key is not configured. I thought I added it in. Maybe it's not the correct place for it. Environment variables. Where did I add it then? That's where I added it to here. Obviously not. Okay, I need to go do that again. So give me 2 seconds while I hide my screen. Just adding. Yeah, I don't know where I added that then. Oh, strange. Add environment variable. YouTube API key. Save. Close that. Okay, back to main. Right, okay. I should do that, but without the hacking bit or being hacked. Yeah, I mean, the money-making bit is, yeah. As I say, it only really worked because he has like 70,000 people watching his streams. But yeah, maybe one day we can spin up Claude bot on a droplet somewhere and tell it to go make us money and see whether anyone will donate us some crypto. Pre-built clients can't be deployed. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to try out. How do I create a new deployment? Instant rollback. No. Can't redeploy. How do we create a new deployment in Vercel? Create deployment. Main, please. Create deployment. But yeah, maybe an idea for a stream is, someone comes up with a product idea and we try and vibe code the product and see how far we can get and see whether we can actually make some money from it. It'd be an interesting idea. Maybe we can do like a 24-hour live stream. Someone comes up with a product idea and I spend 24 hours trying to vibe code it to a actual product that people can use and pay money for. Probably need a bit more than 80 subscribers to do something like that, but it's an interesting idea. Okay, so we are running the cron job. We'll see how we get on. So Claude should have made the sound wave thingy-mabiggy. It doesn't look like it has. Let's close Claude. Let's close that one and just give it another refresh and see what we get. Didn't look like it worked. So history. Oh, it's doing the weird thing where it takes ages to load. Okay, so we can't see the UI at all. Sorry, UI, the recording at all. Let me just check that it is actually working. So testing of the recording history bit. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it doesn't update correctly. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we do get stuff, but there's a few bugs there, right? Okay, the sound wave for the history stuff is not visible. We can click and it will play, but there is no visible audio line, basically. Basically what I want is the entire audio track to be visible as the sound waves. You then click play and it kind of plays through it, and you can see where it is based on the color of the sound wave. Okay, let's see how it gets on there. Okay, let's have a look at, that's the wrong one, the metric stuff. So we've still got another warning, but it looks like something's happened. Okay, so we've got some new data. Subscribers, 81. Looks like we've got another subscriber. Welcome to the channel. We've got 1,200 views and 11 videos. Awesome. So that looks like it's actually worked. Let's have a look at the dashboard. Again, we need to fix the dashboard. It looks absolutely awful. Awesome. So we've actually got some live data. Amazing. Good job, Gemini. So this is the main channel that I'm currently on. I do have some other channels that I am planning on actually making some content for. I've been very, very, very lazy and haven't made any content really for those channels. I've got a coding channel and I've got a kind of system design channel as well. So I'll add those at some point, and we can see neither of them make any money. None of them are monetized, but we can see how we get on with those channels. Awesome. So that worked pretty well, actually. Again, the UI still needs a lot of work. Probably want to surface stuff like subscribers, views, videos on the main card itself, rather than kind of having to be opened up like that. So let's get Claude to do that. Let's get Gemini to do that for us then. Okay. Okay, please go to main and then create a new branch that can be feature UI updates. Actually, let's call it feature project UI bar updates. Again, terrible naming, but is what it is. Okay, so what did I want to do on that? So yeah, so I think what we want is to display well, we should display all this data basically on the bar here, rather than having the opening up thing. I think it's a bit pointless really. There's not that much data we have to display, so we might as well display it all here. We should then also have total subscribers as a kind of call out card here. Maybe we can do total views as a call out card as well. So maybe we can have like financial highlights and then social highlights, I guess. Okay, for the social projects bar, let's please move the social stats to the main bar. I think we can get rid of the drop-down menu from all the project bars and just move that data to the same bar so it's always visible. Come up with a plan to do this and add it to the plans as a markdown document. So yeah, I think with Gemini, you definitely need the plan phase a lot more than we do with Claude from what we're seeing. Even with the basic things, it does get stuff a lot wrong a lot of the time. Okay, awesome. So we've actually got a kind of UI here. Okay, the sound wave for the history stuff is not. Looks pretty good. I don't know why it's obsessed with blue, but it seems to be obsessed with blue. There's no like clear play button though, so we do need to fix that. So let's get that fixed. Okay, great. We also do need a button to play and pause the track, so please add those in. Let's also change the color representing how far we are through the track from blue to white. Okay. So yeah, really cool. We've just been able to build this. I don't know how good the search is. Okay, seems to be pretty good. It's probably very basic, just searching the string. Yeah, pretty much has our use cases, which is great. Also got the model there, the recording. Yeah, pretty impressed with Claude. Okay. So Claude has created, Gemini. Gemini's created the document. It's also got the implementation steps. Refactor. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think that makes sense. But actually, I think what we need to do, so I think currently what it's got is a single like component for each bar. We can probably make a separate one per platform, might be the better approach. So let's get it to do that then. So what would you open an agent manager, this one? I think a better approach is to create a separate component per project platform. So one for YouTube, one for software, one for TikTok, etc. That way we can have custom metrics and stuff within each platform's bar. You can use the platform from the data, I believe, as that tells you what type of media platform it is. Do not implement. Got to remember that, otherwise it will just start doing it before we've even told it to start. Okay, great. We also do need a button. Awesome. Okay, great. I mean, it looks a bit crappy, the button, but pretty happy with that, actually. Okay, so let's get it to just fix the button there. We can probably just get rid of the outline of it and just have the play symbol. For the play button, let's just get rid of the outline. I don't think we need the border and stuff. Still need to fix the pill. That's what I need to do next. For the play button, let's just... Awesome. Okay. A few things we need to fix on the pill. The color now doesn't match the main menu colors, so let's make it match that. Also, the sound waves are not centrally aligned, so they are spilling over on the right-hand side. Please fix those issues. Awesome. This kind of just shows you the power of the vibe coding, really. I mean, I wouldn't say the code is great. I've not looked at it, to be honest, so difficult to know what the code actually looks like. But we have made a reasonably slick app in a few sessions, basically, to do speech to text. It looks pretty cool. I'm quite happy with it, really. So one thing I'll need to do is make it actually shareable as an executable so that people can use it and actually install the executable myself rather than having it run as a dev server every time. We probably also need to have like a change log of the features. We certainly need to come up with a new name and an icon as well. Currently the icon is just the towery application icon, I believe. Okay, so how's Gemini doing on this plan? Let's have a look then, shall we? Modular UI components. I mean, you would have thought it would have done that at the start, given I've asked it to do that every single time. Yeah, that seems sensible to me. Okay. Okay, come up with a to-do list for this plan. Do not implement it yet. Okay, so how's Claude doing? Okay, I mean, it's not fixed it at all. I mean, it says it's done stuff. Maybe it needs refreshing or something, because that didn't change anything. Yeah, I mean, it's not done anything there. Are you sure? The pill is still blue and we're still getting the overflow issue. Please double check what you have done and make the appropriate fixes. So yeah, again, that's probably where I'd be better off having committed stuff, because then I could just say, look, check your current git diff, which is the comparison of your current state to what changes you've made, and then see what you've actually done. I can't do that because I've not been using Git very well. Okay, so how's Gemini doing? It's got a to-do list, implementation steps. Awesome. Not going to read through them all. Again, we're not being super pedantic and going into lots of details on stream for that kind of stuff, because we're trying to just vibe code and get stuff done quickly. And ultimately, this is should be a very simple app, so I can't imagine it's gone that wrong, but we'll see. Okay, please implement this plan. Remember, using TDD, modular development, and clean code. Whether it actually takes those into account or not, I don't know. So yeah, anyone got any ideas for naming for our speech-to-text application? Anyone's got any ideas? Let me know. Testing. Nope. Yeah, still not fixed anything there. Nope, nothing's fixed. Interesting and rather annoying. Okay, we can just get rid of those. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's done any changes to the pill, to be honest with you. Okay, so I guess what we'll do is we'll commit this. Please commit the changes for the history and merge them to main or master. And then we'll get it to do it on a clean slate. Okay, how is Gemini doing? It's running. Okay, so it looks like Claude is done. Again, we still have the issue with the bar being incorrect. Okay, please double check the research markdown file and update it to match the current state of the product and its features. We'll just get it to update that, and then we can get it to read it again, and then we'll update the pill. So the research file is basically kind of in some ways like a master document that we've got that has been made by Claude, so that when we reboot a session, we can say to Claude, hey, read this file explicitly, exactly, in real depth, read everything in this file, and it should get an understanding and a good context of the application, features, etc., the structure of the code, that kind of thing, so that it can build features in the future. And that was one of the tips that we had from that article that I read, which is in this video, the AI workflow changed everything, which we've got 7 views on, so it's not doing too well, and 0 watch time. So yeah, all to experiment with though. So obviously either the thumbnail or the title are not doing particularly great on that one. So we need to have some iteration with that and kind of work out what's going to be good and what's bad. I did make this thumbnail with AI, so maybe that's missing some crucial things. It's not, I wouldn't say it's particularly good. It's not particularly terrible thumbnail, but we can definitely iterate and work on these kind of things. It is also just a video of a stream, so maybe that's, again, not great. Okay, awesome. Okay, please commit that to master. How's Gemini getting on? Okay, so apparently it's done. The dev server should be running. Okay, so yeah, it's done it. So it looks pretty okay. I think in terms of like a UI, I think we're better off maybe having the costs and stuff always on the right hand side, and then the other stuff on the left hand side. Well, left hand side of that lot, just so it's clear, and those will stay aligned, and then they will be slightly different per thing, so we can get that to fix it. They did a good job there. Okay, good. Please make the social stats to the left and then always have the finance stats on the right of the bar. We also need to add in a link to each of the projects. So for social ones, for example, it will be the link to the channel. For a software one, it will be a link to either the product page or the GitHub repo. So make a link prop and populate it for the social one, as we should already have access to that data. The parrot is transcribing. Okay, so now we can get Claude to actually fix. Okay, so we need to fix the pill then, please. Please match the styling of the pill to the main menu UI. So it needs to be grey. And we also need to fix the padding issue for the sound waves. It still overlaps on the right-hand side. So yeah, and then the other thing we do with the pill as well is make the ability to have like a mini pill that doesn't really have anything on it. I think Super Whisper has that, right? It's got an option to have, yeah, just like a mini pill or no pill at all, really. I think we do have get rid of stats. We do have a icon here that just pops up the main menu. We should add in some options as well for menu items and stuff. Let's take a screenshot of that and we'll get it to add in the same sort of things to our one. So yeah, it's interesting. Like we can kind of build. So Super Whisper. I mean, I'm sorry to like just basically rip off your product. as I say, I'm not going to be charging for mine, so but it's kind of crazy that we can kind of build a product like this, albeit I will fully admit that it is not as good as Super Whisper for various reasons. That we can build a product like this in like 4 days, 5 days on a stream. Kind of crazy, really. They obviously have raised money and make money, I guess. And obviously, a lot of the stuff that they do is around performance and stuff of the actual models, which is kind of outside of my wheelhouse, really. I'm not going to be able to dive deep into the AI research side of things, nor is that the purpose of these kind of streaming stuff. But I believe they have, I can't remember what it was called, but they use an SDK basically of another company that does the AI stuff that made the local model really good, which we can potentially use. And obviously they've got like an iOS app and all that kind of stuff, which we're not going to do. But the fact they charge $250 for something that we've potentially built is kind of interesting. Maybe we can try and sell our product and see whether anyone actually wants to buy it. We can build a Flash website as well. Okay, let's see. I mean, it's still blue, and it's still. I don't think it's actually changed anything. That's what I'm not sure about, really. It's like it's not actually made any changes to that. It's kind of stuck in this weird. Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Oh, unless it's changing the wrong thing. Maybe it still thinks it's on about history. Okay, so we. Yeah. Right, let me commit this stuff, and then let's just get it to. I probably don't need to commit the .vite stuff. I should probably add that to git ignore. What was it? .vite? Yeah. Oh, save. Okay. Okay. Please update the pill that displays when we are recording. Make it grey and fix the padding issue. You have not made any changes to the code. You can do a git diff compared to master and see what changes are there. You can do git status. You can see that there are no changes. Please make the fix. It is on the pill that appears when we are doing the recording. Let's see what happens here, because it's kind of run into this weird loop where it seems to think it's doing stuff, making changes, but it's not actually changed anything. So this here is like the history of changes compared to what we have on the main branch. So we can see whether it's made any direct changes or not. Currently it's failing. Let's see how Gemini is getting on with our open dashboard. That's the public one. It's not 9,000, it's 3,000. Too many tabs open, as always. So it's just loading, I think. Takes a while the first time. Okay, so yeah, we've got them lined up now. Looks okay. Again, tons of UI work to do on this. And it opens up the channel. Awesome. Lovely jubbly. And again, don't forget to subscribe. We're on 81 subscribers now, 19 to go to our goal of 100 subscribers. So please do subscribe if you're enjoying the stream and the content. It really helps out the channel. Awesome. So I think we're kind of approaching a point, other than the styling of the dashboard, where we're reasonably happy. So we also want to add in a kind of highlighted top level social stats as well. So like combined and aggregated views and subscribers, etc. So we'll get Gemini to do that feature. Well, I'll get it to commit what we've got currently. Okay, please commit and merge and push these changes. Okay, so it looks like Claude is doing some changes as well, which is good. Testing. Okay, so it's the background is still this kind of blue. It doesn't match the main menu at all. Can you please fix that? Testing. Yeah. Testing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the background is still this blue color and not the same gray as the main menu background. Please fix that. Yeah, and then we'll get it to add the kind of mini pill, and then we'll get the no pill as well. And then we'll also do the menu item. And then we'll probably end up wrapping up the stream after we've built those features. Then next stream, we can finish off the processing animation. So we've got a little typing parrot. Need to fix the pulse glow and the frozen frame, I think, because I don't think they work correctly. Other than that, and the menu item and picking an icon and stuff and a name for the product. Anyone got any ideas for naming the product? Let me know. We can then start to build the executables and share the product, basically. People can start to use it, which will be really cool. Okay, so how has Gemini got on? It's done the merging. Okay, awesome. So for the open dashboard, the next thing we want to do is build out the top level social stats as well, I think. So let's get it to do that. Okay, please create a new branch, feature social stats highlights. Then you can create a plan. The idea is to have some highlighted social stats, i.e. an aggregated data view of the subscribers and views and stuff across all social platforms, similar to how we have for the financial stats. Make the plan a markdown file. Do not implement it yet. Okay, let's see how we get on. Okay, so Claude has done its work. The bar should be grey now. Is the bar grey? Yeah. Okay, that looks way nicer actually. Quite like that. Cool. Classic bars. Yeah, classic bars looks pretty cool. Layered waves. I mean, yeah, we still need to fix that. I don't quite know why it looks like that. We can probably get it to fix that as well. For the layered waves, please fix the animation as it kind of looks a bit weird. It should kind of match the way that kind of a visualization of sound waves looks. It doesn't quite look like that currently. Please fix it and make it way more active and way more reactive to the voice. Okay, awesome. We probably also need to update the images of those as well, because currently they are still blue, whereas they should kind of be a nice grey colour. See, I think my microphone is running out of battery, so probably got till around 8 o'clock, I think. So half an hour. I think we can nail some features and wrap up before the battery dies. Okay, so Claude is done. Let's have a look. Okay, checking the... I mean, it looks okay. Still not that happy with it, really, but is what it is. Okay, the main menu UI for the visualizations needs to match the same gray that we have on the pop-up. they still use the blue background. Please fix this. So yeah, I mean, one thing we can also start to do in future streams is, I believe you can use a feature called a Git work tree that will allow Claude to run kind of 2 Claude instances against the same code base, which should be quite nice, because currently if you run 2 Claudes against the same code base, they can potentially be editing the same files at the same time, and that obviously causes lots of conflicts and stuff. But ultimately what you want is them to run on their kind of own independent code, and then they can both build features and not worry about conflicts and stuff, and then you can sort out the conflicts when you do the code merging. So that'll be one thing we can try out in the future as well. Okay, that looks much better. Awesome. Okay, great. So one thing I also want to change is for the pill, we should have 3 options. Ooh, thank you for the subscribe, whoever that was. Welcome to the channel. Deep Meaning Facts, thank you for subscribing. You kind of off-put me there when I was doing my my feature there, but thank you for subscribing. Okay, so for the pills, one thing I want is to have 3 options. I want to have the option of having no pill, having the pill we currently have, or a mini pill. The mini pill should just be way smaller, not have the text and stuff, and just be the visualization of the sound waves. So let's see what it comes up with there. Again, probably should just commit and get it to do on a separate commit, but I think Claude's smart enough to manage it. And then we also, need to do the menu here. So currently it just opens up, whereas like you probably want to have separate kind of a pop-up like that we do there and stuff. Okay, so how is Claude getting on? So created the feature branch, drafted the implementation plan. Let's have a look at the implementation plan, shall we? Social stats highlights. Should be a fairly simple one, this, because it's kind of already got that data. And it's already got the kind of dashboard stats stuff. Yeah, I think we can just go ahead and get it to do it for us. Oh, I'm going to have to use Whisper. Yep, you can go ahead and implement that, please. Oh, didn't work. Yep, you can go ahead and implement that, please. Awesome. So yeah, super excited to be sharing all of this with everyone. Hopefully we can start to get these numbers to go up. These ones will take a long time to go up, I think. Hopefully we can start to get subscribers and views and stuff to go up. It's not real time by any means. It's run as a cron job. So in fact, let's go ahead and run the cron job and see whether we get our new subscriber reflected in our stats. And to this cron job, it's just going to run every day at 12 AM. Basically, it'll go to the YouTube API currently, and it will fetch the data from the channel that I've got listed here, and it will then update this Notion dashboard that we've got here, which is currently our database, as I don't want to pay to have a database for this, and it's not going to be updated very often. So hopefully this should update. It's now 82, so we should see this update to 82 as well. Which is awesome, and it has done that. Lovely. Awesome. So both of our agents working for us. I feel like a slave master and not doing any work myself. Okay, so I don't know what I got. Okay, yep, so full, that's exactly what I want. Mini, waveform only, doesn't do anything. None, didn't work at all. Right, okay. Testing. Okay, so the menu options are there. Please visualize the pills in the menu option as well. But also, none of the menu options actually work. We always get the full menu, the full pill output. Please fix those issues. Okay. So Gemini is still working away. Claude is going to be working on fixing those bugs. Are you building your model for this or something else? What do you mean by building my model? I'm not building an LLM model, to be clear. I'm using already existing models. So currently in my app, you can use Parakeet, which is an NVIDIA model. Oh, there's a bug there. You can use Parakeet, which is the NVIDIA model, or you can use Whisper, which is an OpenAI model. I will add the option to get more models via Hugging Face. Maybe we can also add in the option to use external sources, so like cloud-based platforms. But currently it's all done locally on the laptop. But to be clear, I am not doing AI engineering per se, so I'm not tuning the model or anything like that. I'm just using pre-built models. Hopefully that answers your question, point text. If not, let me know, clarify the question, and I'll try and answer it. So how's Gemini doing? It's still chugging along. Claude, still chugging along. And yeah, we're building two apps at once. So we're building the speech to text app, which is this kind of desktop app that uses AI stuff. And then we're just building a simple web page that's a UI for kind of data around all the projects that I'm doing. So both the social projects and the actual software stuff and various other products that we'll be building on stream. Awesome. Have you done any vibe coding yourself, Point Dext, or are you just interested? Let me know. I'll be curious as to why you have jumped on the stream. Is it the product side or the AI side or the coding side that's kind of interesting to you? So Claude's still chugging away. How's Gemini getting on? I mean, the Gemini change should be like a 2-minute change. Well, it should be like a 2-second change, really. Shouldn't be too difficult for it to do at all. Yeah, it's done it. Awesome. So we should have aggregated views now, which is great. Okay, let me go to an old YouTube channel that I've got. So hold on, let me just hide my screen for 2 seconds. Okay, so I can reveal my other channel. It should be fairly obvious. Okay, so this is an old channel I've got here. It's Code with Tim, the same as my GitHub. So let's add this to our new page. So platform ID, it's also YouTube. I call it active. It's probably not very active, I would say. Haven't made any videos in a while. Very lazy on it. It's not people, it's just that. Okay, so now that's in the database. When we refresh, we should get the updated stats, and we should see these combined rather than just being a single view. Okay, so Claude is done apparently. Yeah, so it's updated the UI. I don't know why they're kind of a bit blurry, but they are. So let's have a look at Mini then. Does it work? Mini, it does indeed. It's not central, but it looks okay. Testing the Mini wave. Again, not central, but looks all right-ish. Still, I'm not a fan of these waves, but yeah. Classic bar, yep, still not central. Full, yeah, that's absolutely the same as it was, which is good. I still just want more movement and more kind of visual on that. Yeah. And then none, so with none, we don't see anything, which is good. Okay, the sound wave stuff is not correctly aligned on the mini pill. It needs to be vertically and horizontally centered. Please fix this. Yep, cool. I don't really like the none one because you can't see what's going on, but maybe some users would like that. One thing we can actually do then is when we have none, is you can change this icon to be showing that it's recording. Would be one option as well. Yeah, not a big fan of vibe coding. I do it for things I don't want to do. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I got started with vibe coding as well. So for context, I've been a software engineer for around 10 years. And I guess like 6 months ago or so, I kind of did some vibe coding and just it was absolutely terrible. But I kind of noticed a bit of a improvement in the last couple of months with some of the vibe coding stuff that I did. Seemed to improve, and I kind of thought it would be interesting to see whether we can build some products on stream, ideally just vibe coding. Obviously, I've got the advantage that I kind of know what I'm doing, so I have been able to kind of prompt it and help out where it's made mistakes, where if you didn't know how to code, you'd kind of be stuck. It's definitely improved. I think there's still a lot of issues with the quality of code and all that kind of stuff, and what you actually get is not necessarily production ready. I do kind of think it gets you kind of 80% of the way there. But like I say, it is really useful things you don't want to do. I've built lots of little things where in the past I'd have been like, oh, I don't want to spend my weekend building this little tool, but you can vibe code it yourself in a couple of hours, which is really cool. But it's an interesting experiment, and like one thing is that obviously users don't kind of care about how a product is built. They just care that it works and it's performant. So it's an interesting kind of paradigm. Can we build software cheaply, easily, that satisfies the user and they will pay for via vibe coding? If we can, that's kind of a big change, right? Because having to build stuff in the past takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of design and effort, and a lot of time and a lot of money often. So it's an interesting experiment, really. Cool. Let's see how the mini looks now then. Is the mini fixed? Yes, it is fixed. Awesome. Okay, so we're kind of getting somewhere. I think we are fairly close to having a reasonable app. Okay, so one of the things we want to do is when we are recording, we want to show that we're recording in the icon at the top right. So yeah, we'll get this to commit these changes. Then we'll do the menu stuff as well. So like Super Whisper has this kind of menu here to start and stop and that kind of stuff. I guess it kind of makes sense. Maybe we can have the same sort of thing. I don't actually know whether Super Whisper... Okay, well, yes, when you're recording, you do get an icon like that, which I think is really cool, actually. So we can do something similar. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, really. Like in a few streams, we've built something fairly similar to Super Whisper. It's definitely not as good, but it is very cool that we are close to Super Whisper, I would say. Again, I kind of feel like we get 80% of the way there, and then that last 20%, as the old trope in software engineering, is like the hardest bit. It's kind of where you need like designers, you need the optimization of the models and running it locally and stuff that we just don't have and are not going to get, frankly. Okay. Cool. Sweet. Okay, let's please update the menu icon in the taskbar menu to show a red recording icon when we are doing a recording. That way, when we have the no pill option, we can see that we are recording. But it should be available for all options. In fact, let's just make it a default. So when we're always recording, it always shows a little red dot to show that we are recording. Again, like it's really, because talking is so cheap, like it's really kind of difficult to nail your prompt in one. It takes a bit of stumbling and stuff to get my thoughts across. But given we've got this ability to just talk and get the text there, it's nice and easy. And thank you to the latest subscriber, Point Code. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, and it's good to hear you agree, Dex. Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. Like, if you know what you're doing as a software engineer, I think your view of AI tooling is a lot different to someone that's not that familiar. Like, I think someone that's not familiar, like it's kind of like, oh, it is magic and software engineers are done and they're never going to exist in the future. But it's not the case. Like, getting to a really polished, production-ready product takes a huge amount of work. But you know, having said that, AI is awesome to build your own little tooling, your own little projects that, like, say, I would have never built on my weekend off from work because I'd rather do something else. But now I can just get Claude to build it for me and use a little tool. So yeah, super cool. Let's see Open Dashboard where we've got the new channel. Yep, so we've got the old channel, Code with Tim. Awesome. We need to run the cron job to just update the data. Again, not the best or most up-to-date metrics and stuff, but given that it doesn't change that often, and we can make it run every 2 minutes if you wanted to. Just using Notion as a back end, so because it's free and it's nice and easy to manage. Basically, don't want to pay for an RDS and deploy it on anything. So it's just hosted on Vercel, Notion as our backend. Awesome, so that works, and we get an aggregated view of the views and stuff. Nice. Awesome, pretty cool. Need to make this dashboard look way nicer. Cool. So I think once we do this little recording thing, I think we'll probably summarize what we've done in the stream, and then we'll wrap up for this one. My voice is getting a bit raspy, and I need to go and have some dinner. Cool. So yeah, so overall we have seen that Claude is way better than Gemini. That's 100% been confirmed in this stream. Claude just nails stuff in basically one to a really high standard. Gemini takes a long time to get stuff done. Often I've had to prompt it a bit more, give it a bit more hand-holding. Had to look into the code and work out why it couldn't change the YouTube icon from some random square box to the actual icon. But in terms of features, we've now got the data hooked up to the YouTube API, so we can get some data, which is awesome. I think we've done some UI changes on the dashboard as well. It looks a bit crap still. We're going to fix it. Make it look nicer at some point. And then in terms of the speech to code, which is actually just speech to text, we've updated the UI a lot. It looks way slicker than it did earlier. We fixed a few little bugs. We've got the typing parrot that transcribes our speech for us. We've now got the pills. We've got the history, where you can play it back as well, which is awesome. Okay, let's please update the movement of the bar. Doesn't quite work perfectly, but it's fine. So we've got history. We've got a cool looking UI. I think we're kind of, yeah, I feel like we're getting towards being able to ship this, really. Certainly is like a beta and give people access to it and they can try it out locally themselves. Need to make the executables as well. I don't know how you do that with Tauri yet, but I'm sure Claude will work it out for us. Then probably also need to make a website and work out how we can actually distribute it, or maybe just give people access to the GitHub and let them do it themselves. We can probably also come up with a changelog as well, just so we can keep track of the features and stuff. Why does it need Python? What? I don't understand why you need Python at all for this. The UI is TypeScript currently with Tauri as the backend. You can read the research.markdown file to get context of the application. There's no need to use Python at all. So again, I don't understand why it's attempting to use Python. I'm pretty sure like PLL is like drawing images with code, right? So I don't know why it wants to do that. Like nothing in this project is Python based. So crazy as to why it would think it even needs to do that or how that's going to work. Yeah, strange. Okay. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so it's done it apparently. Let's have a look, shall we? Do we get a recording icon? We do indeed. Doesn't look that great, but I think we're kind of happy with it for now. And that's a good place to probably end. Yeah, you can commit all these changes to master. I'm happy with that. Okay, yeah, so summarizing the stream. We've made some good progress on the speech to text application, mainly on the UI, to be honest. A couple of little functionality things. You can have different pills, different visualizations now. We've got a transcribing parrot animation as well. We've got the history, so you can see the full history. You can even play back the audio. You can copy it. Transcription looks pretty good. And we've got this menu item as well, which is nice. Kind of smooth animation as well. And we've got the recording icon there as well. And yeah, we've got the dashboard is coming along. Lots of UI updates to do on that, but ultimately we are making progress. Still no money incoming and just expenses being incurred, but that's to be expected as we're not actually building any products that we can sell yet. Awesome. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to wrap up there. Hopefully catch you on the next stream. And if you've got any ideas for products or anything you want to build on stream, let me know. Or any articles and stuff that you think I would find interesting or can react to and read out on stream.